So everyone asks Jason about his workout and what he was eating, and I felt that it's not fair to you. So I want to start with, what were you eating on the set? What was your diet like to maintain the shape and physicality of directing this movie?
You know what? I actually needed to eat as healthy as I can because this movie is such a huge movie to make, and not just to shoot, but just to overall to put it together. This film took like 2.5 years of my life, and yeah, it's not just the actors that have to stay in shape. As the director, as the captain of this ship, I have to make sure that I keep my health and just my spirit up, and the cool thing is, the actors on set had basically like personal chef to cook for them and kind of keep them in shape, so that they don't steer off and start gorging on pasta or whatever, right? That's the thing that I think Jason missed the most, was giving up pasta during the photography of this film.
Yeah.
And whatever they were eating, I'll try and join in as well.
The last few DC movies have been darker, and one of the things I think people are really responding to about this is that it's bright and it's fun and it's different than what's come before. Can you sort of talk about that?
I think this movie is different, even outside of DC, just in the general sort of superhero landscape, right? Because we've never kind of seen a movie like this that takes place, in the underwater world before, right? Or at least not to this level. And when people ask me, what is your inspiration? I say I actually took my inspiration from the comic book, because that's how the comic book, that's how the comic books were, and so 70 years worth of source material to be pulling from. I felt very lucky to basically be one of the first people to be able to make a movie about this character that's really never been done before.
I like that it's just Aquaman's basically story, and that it's Mera, Aquaman, it's the Aquaman characters.
It's the Aquaman world.
Exactly.
The Aquaman universe, yeah.
So my question, though, is if you could have had a cameo of another DC character, even just walking in the background in Maine on the beach, which character would you have liked to have put in?
You know what? Good question. I haven't really thought about that, but I imagine, at least in the comic book, I feel like the Atlanteans and the world of Wonder Woman kind of are very similar. So I feel like she wouldn't be too out of place in this film, I think.
Jason mentioned that he would like in the sequel to have Wonder Woman and Flash. So
there you go.
Right. So my question, though, is this is going to be a big hit. I know it. Assuming you're going to be involved, I'm sure, in a sequel. Have you already thought?
What sequel? Don't talk to me about sequel.
Right.
This movie hasn't even come out yet.
It's going to be a big hit. I'm very confident. Okay, I'll leave it there. I was going to ask you a different question, but talk a little bit about the test screening process and maybe what you learned from those screenings, and what maybe you removed, deleted scenes that just didn't make the final cut.
Test screenings is almost like a necessary evil these days for just studio filmmaking in general. And if you're making movie for the general public, it's always nice to kind of see how they react to it. When you're so close in it, it's kind of hard to see the forest from the trees. And it's always good to kind of get a perspective on it. I've always said that test screenings, as much as I find them to be a pain, they've continued to save my career time and time again. Seriously, for example, Saw was supposed to go straight to video, but when that movie was test screened, it tested through the roof, and it made the studio rethink putting it straight to video and putting it on the big screen instead. And so again and again, everything that I've wanted to do, and people might not necessarily be so sure about some of the things I do, I would play it for an audience, and they would pretty much always be on the same page as me. So I'm really grateful for the process, and usually what I find is, whether, my scares or my jokes or my action scenes kind of play, or if I need to sort of tighten things up or need to lengthen other stuff, just to make sure the pace is correct.